Hi, it's Meryl Key and this is my mystery school. Get yourself ready for 2024 and be able to look back and see where it all went wrong. I'll do a tarot reading for each individual sign and we'll also use the cards to look at an overview of the year. And if you can, support my channel with a like, share, comment or subscribe. I'm only going to use the majors for this because I just want the main statement, and I'm not going to read reversals. But we'll start with an overview for the major transits of 2024 and then we'll get into the readings. Jupiter's in Taurus and it'll move into Gemini on May 26th. Saturn's in Pisces and it'll be there all year. Uranus is in Taurus and Jupiter's going to catch up with that on April the 19th, which is going to be a big transit, active all of April. April's looking like a bit of an explosive month. Neptune's in Pisces. Pluto's slowly edging at the end of Capricorn, finally changing signs and moving into Aquarius right at the end of the year, December 18. The nodes are North Node Aries and South Node Libra. They'll change signs early 2025 in January, moving into North Node Pisces, South Node Virgo. The eclipses, March 25, there's a wide eclipse in Libra. A big one, the solar eclipse, which moves over the US, Canada and Mexico. That's on April the 8th in Aries, 19 degrees. A small partial eclipse, September the 18th in Pisces. And another big one, October the 2nd, 7 degrees Libra. So I'll see if I can put these cards down. Wheel of Fortune, well, that's when the eclipses are, so that's appropriate. This one's got the Hierophant. Let's move it in there. The Star. Hangman. This is going to be a problem. The Empress. The Chariot. That made her move, that's good. Tower. That's a tricky month. These are opposite each other. We've got the Fool, got the Magician, the Devil, Judgment, and Justice. So we'll read this month by month, starting with January up here, and the Devil's there. So January is looking a tough time. This is like a real breakdown of agreements, having to face a harsh reality, and it looks like we're moving into the year on a bit of a down note. February, that comes to a head. It comes to a crisis point. A decision needs to be made. Action needs to be taken. If we check out what's going opposite, we've got the Hanged Man opposite the Devil and the Empress opposite Judgment. So there's some stalemate or a truce or an agreement that can't hold. And it's concerning food supplies, abundance, new beginnings, women and children. And for many tarot readers, the Empress represents Russia. So this looks like involving the various wars that are around the place and a crisis point being met. In March, we've got the Justice card. We know that Saturn is there in Pisces as well. So that does look like the action that was taken here is met with an investigation or an assessment, something on the world stage that has to evaluate what was fair, what wasn't fair. And it looks like, it's uncovered some very uncomfortable truth. On a personal level, this just looks like that first 3 months of the year. You're grappling with a really big issue, something you have to face, and it really needs a decision. So I recommend that this first 3 months, by March, don't shy away from making a hard decision, because come April, we've got the Wheel of Fortune. And we've got those eclipses in April, which are going to flip the landscape. And if you haven't faced up to what you need to face, you'll find you're thrown into it anyway. April is a big month because not only are the eclipses there, but we've got the whole month active with a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction on the 19th of April, which extends its influence all through that time. April is really bringing these things to a head. Now, Wheel of Fortune relates to eclipses, a fated moment, a destiny moment, a stroke of luck, an opportunity, or a door opens that you fall through. Because these two are influencing what's going on in April, Jupiter expands everything it touches and it makes it huge. And Uranus there explodes and splinters and wants to really shake the ground beneath your feet. They're both in Earth sign Taurus. So that shake-up is to do with Taurus things, your security, your work, your cash flow, your base needs. How safe and secure do you feel with what you have? It also relates to borders and ownership, what's in the earth. And this could signal earthquakes and the earth literally moving. The combination of an Aries eclipse and the Taurus influence of these two digging everything up. It does look like there's big physical movement, the movement of people, movement of resources. It also has this feeling of like a wall of defense. So when we're looking at April, we know there's some big shake-ups. And even with that eclipse, if we go opposite to where the South Node is, this Wheel of Fortune is saying it's dug up by something very surprising, the Tower. The Tower also shakes the ground beneath your feet. So I'd be expecting that in April. Something quite revolutionary is going on. If we move to May 2024, we've got the Hierophant as the main card here. And the Hierophant represents a higher mind coming together to form like a spiritual boundary or a moral boundary, an ethical boundary. In a way, the Justice card will deal with the rules and the decisions, but the Hierophant is the policy and the belief systems behind those rules. Jupiter will leave Taurus on May 26 and move into Gemini. So that'll break up some of this hold, but it also introduces the idea of you having a change of mindset, a new set of rules coming in, a new boundary, a new ethic, a new belief system. And there's been such a shake-up with what you thought you knew. And Taurus really wants to hold on to what it knows. But you're kind of forced here to adopt a new position, a new outlook, and potentially a new direction. By June, that comes good because the Star card is a really beautiful card and represents healing and restoration. It's the first time since the beginning of the year that you get a sense that you've made the right choices, that you're able to just settle and grow new skin, heal and restore. If you've been working on something since the beginning of the year, these two, May and June, look like it when it comes into form, where it starts to integrate. It won't be ready to be released until these times, which is, June, July, August. But whatever you're working on, it starts to get that blessing that you're on the right track and you've reshaped it in the way that it needs to reshape. July, we have the Hanged Man, which means there's a bit of a turning point going on right in that middle of the year. You might find in July you have to sit and wait things out for a bit, and I would suggest that's the right thing to do, given the way this trails, meaning something gets really blown apart that you have to address. You seem to address it May and June, and then you've got to integrate these new pieces, get it really ready, because this one, August, is when whatever you're working on gets the okay and gets released. July, you may need patience and you may need a new way of looking at things and accepting a compromise or just waiting for the timing. The Hangman, we're always looking at sets of 3. So it could be the 3 months, 1, 2, 3, which would mean if you haven't acted, it's going to happen for you. Or 3 weeks, we're looking at you moving into August with the Empress behind you. A feeling of abundance, of new beginnings, flow of growth, of fertility, and ready to make that announcement out into the world. opposite the Empress because the Judgment card is there. It's a result of these actions that came early in the year that have now come to fruition. September, we've got action stations. We move from this launch to really getting it off the ground. The Chariot is about going after what you want, balancing the different sides of your nature and harnessing your skills and your bravery, facing a conflict. But this card is opposite the Justice card. And here's our balance. You'll be looking back at what happened in February. If you were in the right place, I think you get a go-ahead. You've dealt with this devil at the beginning of the year. If you've hesitated and got too stuck and procrastinating here in July, I think the 3-month thing takes you to the Tower in October. And like I said, I think your hand will get forced. October, the South Node eclipse there on the 2nd faces this crisis point. You can see what's going on. The head is split off, the ground is disrupted, and it's ejecting everyone out of this rigid structure. If you've been too rigid, you're going to be ejected out. The opportunity came 6 months ago, here in April, to change your point of view. If you haven't adopted that, or if you've been stuck in a restriction with this, then October is the time you break free. Don't be afraid of the Tower card. I find it really liberating, especially when you've been stuck here in where you are in July, waiting for the head and the heart to come together to give you that psychological turning point and help you move on. I like the Tower because it breaks through rigidity. It opens your mind. And we can see in November, the mind is open because we've got the Fool there. November is the time you break free of this restriction. And in the sequence, we can see break free, Fool, leading to the Magician. Now, this is really good. What's been held up and restricted, what's been oppressed, is able to break free and start a new journey. And that's the Fool in November 2024. And once you've broken free from this, you're not looking back. The Fool is able to step into the unknown. For some of you in November, you might be taking a holiday, you might be starting a brand new venture, you might be turning your back on something forever. This one is in the house of relationships. So some of you will be going through rocky relationships that finally break free. December 2024, there's a bit of that planetary movement with Pluto finally moving into Aquarius. And Mars is going to go retrograde in Leo on December the 6th, staying retrograde until the following year, 2025, in February. And this is just reaffirming that shift in November and December to leaping off the cliff and landing with the Magician. So let's look at the Magician, where the Fool ends up landing, the right place to be, 0 to 1. The Magician is the guy that opens the door to the new adventure. He gives you the tools that you need, puts an offer on the table, and invites you to step through. Some readers are wary of the Magician because he can mean a con man, someone who'll take advantage of the Fool's naivety. But I love the Magician. The Magician to me is a great teacher and a great learning experience. And if you're not afraid to break free, you're really heading off on a new cycle. The Magician in December means the power of the spoken word. You may be able to manifest things that you wanted to manifest, and it's sitting here opposite the Star. So there's a result of the healing and the reconciliation that went down in June that may reflect favourably in December. The Magician at the end here shows that you've really learned something starting at the beginning of the year with a hard reality. By August, you're able to deliver something, and it breaks free this rigid pattern. So you're facing 2025 with quite a different outlook, perhaps even like from a different landscape. Literally, there may be a physical move that happens with this for some of you. Overall, the tough points are going to be April and October, and kicking off the year with some kind of disappointment, a loss, a hard reality, hard to get up. And if you don't start making the decision after 6 months, after some healing, if you don't open to that healing, you could find yourself in battle in this third quarter of the year Nevertheless, by the time we have the second eclipse on October the 2nd, see how things lift off from this breakdown to freedom. Overall for the year 2024, the areas that are going to be really tough are going to be relationships, the 7th house, and work, the Devil card. So for some of you, 2024, there's going to be a harsh reality that comes down through your business life, your public life outside. And we've got this destiny thing going on in the 1st house, the house of your physical appearance, your general energy. 2024 is going to be a year when a lot of you switch your relationship status and even your relationship with yourself, how you view yourself, your personal identity. The Devil's squaring this on the global level. This is more of that Pluto in Capricorn, breaking down those top-down structures, breaking down and exposing where money, corporate greed, patriarchal views, power play, all that Capricorn stuff about how officialdom and big money has defined who and what we are. I think we're going to see a lot of exposure going on in 2024 as Pluto finally moves out of Capricorn. I would look at the Hierophant being in the 2nd house, opposite the Fool in the 8th and the Magician in the 9th, that there's also going to be a lot of movement and travel. And I think this is overall immigration, refugees. The Star card says that movement and travel is to find a more peaceful place, to move from crisis to healing. The Empress card in the 5th house overall is a really good card of self-expression, and I think this also invokes a feeling of protest, of speaking out, of whistleblowers, of people defending women and children, and looking at ways that abundance has been exploited, where funds have been misdirected, sent to the devil, or even legal corruption around the way funds and movement and supplies have been moved. I can see also this thing about exposing corruption and maybe there being whistleblowers, people speaking up. I could also see that in the 9th house here. 9th house representing social media, and the 11th. Both of these are looking at a call to action, opening the door to let in the light. And the devil there between them is what they're revealing. So 2024 could really be a big year for protest and holding the government and employers to account. The cards that didn't come up are kind of just as interesting as the cards that did. So we've got the Hermit, isolation. Pluto moving into Aquarius in 2024, to me was always going to be that symbol of COVID being over. So the isolation of COVID, maybe that's done. What didn't happen also, the High Priestess. The secrets are coming out. We can't keep them hidden anymore. It's a year of action, not a year of sitting back. Strength card didn't come out, and that might be because conflict is going to be more direct, less about negotiating, less about dancing around things, and more about addressing it directly. The other card that didn't come up is the Lovers. Well, if we look at the House of Libra, the House of Relationships, it's because a lot of you are going to be looking at changing the way you do relationships, changing your choices, and re-looking at where you want to commit. Who else didn't come up was the Emperor. I expect that's because we've got real challenges here. The Emperor rules Aries. Real challenges and eclipses going on in the House of Aries, shaking up those traditions, the boundaries, the floor beneath your feet. So the Emperor didn't show up, I think, because structures are going to be redrawn. The Moon didn't come up, and that's awesome. It's a really crappy card. Temperance didn't come up. Better than that, we got the Star. So instead of things just being try to find a happy medium and save face, no, we're going right in for full integration. Other card that didn't come up is Death. We've kind of skipped over that and gone straight through to let it go. The transformation's happened. Now you need to stand up and be accountable. Didn't get the World card. That's a shame. It's a great card, and it means we're still in a big cycle. We're not at the end of a big cycle. Sun card also didn't come up. So we're not fully getting the recognition and optimism and regrowth that we want in 2024, but we are certainly digging under the surface and revealing what needs to come out. From these cards, we can look at your individual signs. And this one card will represent your whole year. And I encourage you to kind of stick it up on the fridge or something, because you'll keep coming back to it. And over the course of the 12 months, you'll really come to live out the expression of that card. Aries, it's the eclipses for you. The fact that the North Node is in your sign, redefining your direction, opening you to new territories, and helping you break free from the past. Your year is defined by the Wheel of Fortune, the card of luck. It means it's a turning point year for you, and we know by the time you have that eclipse on the 8th, you are flipped into a new landscape. Now, it comes with a lot of disruption, but some part of you will know that you're being guided to move into a new space. This will be particularly current for anyone who's got a birthday around the 8th of April, and your birthday month is going to be opening up a few surprise packages for you. The other thing for Aries to watch is at the end of the year in December, the node in Aries will square Pluto. And again, this is a fated step to readdress something or completely transform the way you deal with it. You've got a lot of this planetary support to feel your way into that new direction and have the faith that you can do it. Taurus, your card of the year is the Hierophant. And it's the card of getting how you feel inside, working on the outside. You have Jupiter in your sign and Uranus still there for another year. But while they're moving through, this feeling of wanting to expand and grow beyond some of the traditions that you've been really stuck and held into gets an injection, gets something to elevate it. For some of you, you might be going through legal issues or new education. The Hierophant, it represents all that you learn and how you pull it in from above. Opposite you, you've got the Fool. So there's something knocking on your door, opening up a new opportunity. And you might have to work through a bit of bureaucracy, get all your ducks lined up in a row, feel how it sits with integrity. Because if you are foolish with this opportunity, or if you don't learn what you have to learn in 2024, you might find that you're jumping off the cliff and landing in the arms of someone who wants to take advantage of you. The number 5 will be significant for you, and it's the 5th month when Jupiter leaves your sign. So all that Jupiter's brought up, all that it's tried to shift and expand and force you to grow, you can start to put it in its place and feel like you've done the right thing. Gemini, your card for the year is the Star. And you've got Jupiter moving into your sign from May 26. Star is such a beautiful card. It's a healing card. It's a massive yes card. It's a really good card for recovery and restoration. The Star card gives helpful optimism. It gives you a guide or a therapist or a counsellor. It puts you in a place where you can find harmony and balance for your spiritual needs. Some Geminis might find that their star truly rises in 2024 because the star represents celebrity as well. See, she's sitting here naked and open and true. She has nothing to hide. She has 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on the land, and she's nourishing all aspects of herself. And for a Gemini, this is kind of your life calling. Gemini's job is to explore paradox and duality and find a way to nourish both sides of themselves and bring them together. So I feel that 2024 for you, Gems, is a really powerful healing year. And maybe where you come across someone or a situation that truly nourishes your spirit, truly allows you to be vulnerable, or where you start working with those parts yourself and putting it out in public in some way. Cancer. Your card for the year is the Hanged Man. So it's a bit of a sit and wait it out year. The Hanged Man can be a tricky card because people can feel caught up or made victim. tied up in things they can't control, sacrificed in some way. But essentially the Hanged Man is about allowing things to synthesize, to come together. And when the head and the heart have found that place, you have a psychological turning point and you can't look back. It's interesting for you this year, Cancer, that you're sitting opposite the devil. So something outside of you has been a harsh reality, has broken your heart a bit. And you might be spending a lot of 2024 in a bit of a power struggle with something, or facing an addiction, feeling that you're tied and restricted, in bondage. Your lesson of 2024 will be about changing your perspective. Look at things from the other side. If you willingly sacrifice and let something go, you'll find you won't be held by the devil. You can reverse the situation and find enlightenment. Give yourself patience for 2024. Notice when things come in threes, because that's the number for the Hanged Man. And if you need to, willingly make a sacrifice so you're not in bondage. Change your perspective. Leo, you've got a beautiful card for the year, the Empress. It's a year of growth and abundance for you. It represents Venus, and it might be some of the troubles that Venus gave you over 2023, which were pretty shocking, have been able to clear the ground and bring you growth. The Empress is a card of physical luxury, of feeling opulent and beautiful and charismatic, and having the abundance to share it with others. It can also represent a strong woman in your life, issues of mothering or motherhood, and where and how you express your creativity. Some of you in 2024 will be reaching a decision point around those issues. You've got the Judgment card opposite. So there are decisions to make regarding how you feel good about yourself, how you feel about your body, how you share your physical space, and where you sit in regards to your creativity. You'll also have Mars moving retrograde in your sign in December, moving through into January 2025. And that's going to slow things down, mess with your energy levels a bit, muddy your focus. It could also bring up health issues, and particularly around blood and heart. So I think if this is about getting into your body and getting on a bit of a health kick, 2024 is going to be a really good year for that. Virgo, your card for the year is the Chariot, and that's pretty exciting. It's a card of success and triumph. Nothing's going to hold you back. The Chariot says you've got a ton of energy, you're feeling prepared and balanced, you've got all your Virgo stuff organised, and you're ready to take off. It's a physical card. It's about your physical movement. Some of you might be buying a new car or changing the way that you move in some way, taking up exercise, a spin class, or something with a machine, taking up bike riding. And others will find a struggle that they've been going through reaches a decision. And I would feel if you're in some sort of legal battle, Virgo, or something to do with work that has been unfair, something where you've been overlooked, I would say that in 2024, you're going to get a decision going your way regarding that. And it will open a door for you and set you forward. If you've been lacking mobility in 2023, I see 2024, you're off and going. Libra, your card for the year is the Tower. You've got the South Node in your sign. And when the South Node is in your sign, you're purging, you're letting go, you're reassessing, the past will come up and flood your mind with memories, and you're meant to put them in their place and let them go. This is a lot of pressure for you. It's a pressure year. Something has reached a real crisis point and you're really fed up with it in 2024. I would say those eclipse periods in April and September, October are the times you really have to step out of a rigid thought pattern or a rigid situation. Something out of the blue can just take you by surprise and your mind will be blown. For some of you, this might be a diagnosis of some kind, an investigation that comes through. It might be a realization in a relationship, or it could be just you at the end of a pattern that you're ready to shift. The South Node there wants you to let it go. There's big changes for you in 2024, not just with these eclipses, but also because there's a calling for you to assert your cardinal place, Libra. You're a leadership sign. There's been something that's masked or oppressed or held you back. And this Tower card is doing a really good South Node job of ejecting out the demons. What might support you in this is the Judgment card, knowing that it's time for change. And also, we got the Star card. Look, there's your Grand Trine. Star card offering that healing. Some of you might be having a healing crisis 2024. This is true. But you find yourself in the right place at the right time. And you have to make a call and seek out this place of restoration. The exposure and vulnerability that might come through, you're actually being called onto your path. Good luck, Libra. Scorpio, you got the Fool card. How awesome. Beginning of a new journey, feeling free, unencumbered, trusting your instinct, having faith, leaping empty-handed into the void. Because you've had Uranus and Jupiter opposite your sign, some of you might be letting go of an attachment to material possessions. You might be wanting to live more sustainably. You might be wanting to leave your home or country of origin. You just might want to chuck stuff out and live lightly. There's a lot of freedom in 2024 for you. A weight is lifted off you. And I would think for Scorps, if you're planning travel, if you're planning on learning new things or meeting new people, if you're looking to step into the unknown, to places you haven't been before, I really encourage you to do it, because this card is saying there's brand new beginnings and you won't be able to resist that urge to take things to another level. Sagittarius, your card is the Magician. You have a lot of power in 2024, and people are going to be coming out of the woodwork to get your advice, to use you as a reference point, to direct them in the right place. The main thing is the power is yours. It's the power of the spoken word, and what you say can become manifest. Opposite your sign is the Star card. You've been working on something kind of behind the scenes, gently slowing, restoring it, bringing it up to good health. And I think 2024, you're able to open the door and release what you've been working on, release what you've manifest. The Magician is the card that says you'll be very chatty. Some of you may be writing or journaling or releasing your words in some way. Some of you may find social media stuff really launches out. And others will find that they meet a teacher or a guide who points them in the right direction. The Magician is the guy that gives you the lowdown on what you need to know. And here you are, you've got everything you need, everything you've been working for. I think 2024 is a real breakthrough year for you, Sag. The main thing is you're pulling it down from above. You're manifesting it here on earth, and it's going to grow into something really powerful when we look opposite at the star, at what's underneath motivating you. Growth year, Sag. Capricorn, your card is the Devil. This is going to be a tough year, particularly around those eclipse times, because when we look at what's squaring your sign, we've got the Hanged Man, which was inaction or procrastination, or knowing you have to make a sacrifice to release from bondage. And also squaring you, you've got these eclipses, the Wheel of Fortune and the Tower card. So April and September, October might be difficult times for you, Caps. The Devil card is about facing that harsh reality, seeing what's been lurking in the dark all this time, and where you've been held in bondage or restriction, where you've gone along with something, where you've been sucked or seduced or tempted into something. The Devil reveals what's going on under the surface, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's the breakdown of the normal rules of things. As Pluto's grinding through those last bits of Capricorn, it's really bringing up the dirt of the underworld for you. Capricorns are ready to make a big transformation, really face something difficult. And around those eclipse times, you might be reacting with a more radical impulse than you normally do. You've always got the opportunity just to sit it out and wait and hide yourself, sacrifice yourself. But I don't think you're going to be able to do that in 2024. The thing that's always taught with the devil, although it looks scary, these are the fallen lovers, and the chains around their neck can be removed. They're self-imposed. It's a self-imposed restriction. So I guess 2024, Caps, you're going to be experimenting a bit with your relationships, breaking free of restriction, and maybe ready to give something up in order to have freedom and restore. Make your offering to the devil. Face up to hard facts. Remove these chains of bondage. The rules are inverted with the devil, and Caps, you've got a difficult decision to make this year. Aquarius, you've got the Judgment card. And you've also got Pluto coming back into your sign finally at the end of the year. 2024, clean up your stuff and get ready for Pluto to start transforming everything you thought you knew about yourself. The Judgment card is that call to action, to rise up and be in judgment of the work that you've done, what you've put in, where you need assessment and where you want to move forward. The Judgment card is the last card before the World card, the end of the cycle. And you know, when you're at the end of a cycle, you're cleaning up all the loose bits, you're looking at big picture and detail at the same time, you're wondering if you've got everything right, and the next cycle, the next project is already forming in your mind, already getting set up. The Judgment card is about making sure you've cleaned up all the loose bits. Go back and fix what you have to fix and take action. It means you're ready. And the trumpet call here from Archangel Gabriel means you can't resist the call. You have to take action. If we look at what's opposite, we've got the Empress card down here. So this might be around issues of mothering or motherhood. It might be about your physical health. It might be about where you choose to live and how you express your creativity. If you're considering motherhood or having children, this is the call to action to get it on. If you're at that point where your kids are leaving home, you'll find you've got rebirth that happens after that. And if you find that you are in judgment of your own body, your own physical space, if that's the case, Aquarius, rise up. Hear the call for a rebirth. Cut out the dead wood. Take ownership and accountability for your actions, and you'll find underneath it there's a more truthful, more substantial, more self-worth life waiting for you. Bring it on. Pisces, your card for the year is the Justice card. That works because you've got Saturn in your sign. Saturn is the planet of laws and restriction, of discipline, of getting the foundation right and getting the structure right and accepting consequence. And justice sits right in that. Justice is the card that if you've done the right thing, you will get rewarded. If you've done the wrong thing, you will be judged and justice will be meted. So it's a card of balance, a card of being objective, a card of not allowing your emotions or your beliefs or even your preconceptions to sway you. You have to stay in that balanced state and deal with what Saturn throws at you, which will be detail and contracts and agreements and structures, and get them all in order, get them all lined up and signed off. It's excellent advice, Pisces, and something some of you will find difficult to do. So stick this Justice card on your fridge and remind yourself you need a balance of information and guidance and realness, and to make your decisions based on a very objective observation. Opposite you, Pisces, you have the Chariot card, which shows there's a conflict coming your way. And instead of being caught in drama, you might have to seek justice, you might have to get legal representation or take this to a higher level. But ultimately, your test in 2024 is to maintain that integrity, maintain that balance, even when the drama's being flicked in. It's a year you'll have to use your head rather than your heart. Perfect. Saturn in your sign is there to help you do that. So I hope that helps you for the year to come, and you can come back and check out this video during the year to see where you're at with things. I'm Meryl Key, and this is my mystery school. Check the other videos on my channel, or find me on Instagram at my_mystery school, or on my website www.merylkey.com. See you next time.